Welcome to ZKast, everyone. I'm Zeus Kerravala from ZK Research, and I'm in the Expo Hall at NRF2026. I'm at the Extreme booth, obviously all the purple. I'm with John Brams, SVP of America Sales. John, how you been?
Great to see you again. Great to be back in New York. It's always this fun time of year for us to get back together.
Yeah, how's the show been for you?
It's been great. I think there's 44,000 people, I think they said this year.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this last year, but I still continue to see a trend of people more on the international side. I don't know if you're seeing this as well, where the percentage of people coming from international locations seems to be increasing, while maybe there's a little bit less travel within the U.S. But it's nice to see. It's always great to be here.
You know, it's interesting because retail, once a very slow-moving vertical, is not anymore, right? And if you go up and look at the innovation in the Expo Hall, there's like robots and drones and like automated payment systems and stuff. And it just like every piece of innovation you see is a network-enabled device, right? And so, you know, as you talk to your customers in the retail space, I know you got some big ones, you know, Kroger and companies like that.
Sure.
What are some of the initiatives they're thinking about now, and how has that impacted the way they think about the network?
Yeah, I think retail in general has always been a place that's talked about future technology, all these things we want to do, and I think we're finally starting to see it come to fruition, like the things that we've been talking about for years. And I think the people that are doing it best are really the people that are thinking about the network. It's really a strategic asset. And almost every single one of the applications and all the things you see around here, ultimately it's going to run on the network. So we're finally starting to see, and I'll use an example with Kroger. They just implemented Thread, so they're replacing their Zeus technology. And one of the reasons they made their investment in Wi-Fi was to be the platform to do that. So we're incredibly excited about the things that we're seeing and finally starting to see some of these technologies come to fruition. And I think from an Extreme perspective, you know, the way we differentiate ourselves is if people think about it strategically, then the Extreme side of it is going to make sense because of our deep history in the sports and entertainment. A lot of those technologies, from how traffic flows to the analytics and really starting to bring those technologies together, is something that we've been doing for 10 plus years. And I think we've seen the evolution now with retail really adopting these technologies.
Yeah, in fact, I want to touch on the sports entertainment. I think because of the work you've done there, right? And if you think of all the kind of iconic stadiums around the world, where Man U plays and Fenway Park and things like that, Extreme's always the Wi-Fi in those. And in fact, Ed Meyercord, your CEO, referred to this at the Investor Day, that I've called you guys the king of complex Wi-Fi, right? And how was that experience in building out those really complicated environments help you in retail now? Because aren't they just kind of a microcosm in the stadium in a way?
100%. Yeah. I mean, the thing about the stadium side of it, when we kicked that business off more than a decade ago, was really solving the high density side of it. It was two pieces, solving the high density, but then it was also, you know, how do we get visibility into what people are doing in venue, and then how do we support all these technologies? So our history there has absolutely evolved. And I'll give you an example. Another large retailer that was thinking about from the user experience. So how does a guest user come onto the network, and what's that experience, and how do you make it seamless? All the technologies that we would find in the stadium world about, for example, stadium offload and that seamless authentication, doing all those things, we brought that forward now into the retail side of things. So the way you treat a guest is the way you treat one of your customers. It's the way you treat your fan. There's a lot of crossover between that technology.
Yeah, in fact, you've got some big retailers. In fact, I think, can't name the name, but I think it's a Fortune 1 retailer.
Yeah. We have a few. But we'll keep the identity. But I think people could probably figure some of that stuff out. Yeah.
And you talk about Wi-Fi, and so you mentioned Wi-Fi, and I talked to your Wi-Fi guru, David Coleman, about this a few months ago around Wi-Fi 7 and that transition coming. And in fact, Ed talked about this at Investor Day, that he felt it would be the biggest Wi-Fi cycle that we've had maybe ever, right? And when 7 came out, I think a lot of people looked at it with a bit of a raised eye. We just rolled out 6E, why do we need 7? But it seems like the benefits of 7 are so great now, not just the performance side, but the other benefits, that you actually might see companies forward roll their, accelerate their depreciation cycles to get 7 in, because the performance is great, it's got better security, better visibility, and it just seems like, I think, we're going to see the uptake of Wi-Fi 7 be, really strong.
I think so. And, you think about 6E was all about 6 gigahertz, but a lot of people didn't take that step with 6E yet. So that's another reason why I think you're going to see, you obviously get the benefits of 6 gigahertz with Wi-Fi 7, but you do get all those inherent other technology, improvements that you spoke to. And I think when you think about it from a life cycle perspective too, one thing retail does do is when they buy something, they're going to run it for a while. It's not going to be like we typically see a 3 to 5 year life cycle. In retail, sometimes it can be 5, 7, and 10 years. So there's a lot of specific to retail where I think they're going to be primed to be upgrading for the reasons you said, and then just from a life cycle perspective.
I do wonder if that's going to stay the case though, because the retail's getting increasingly competitive. There's more devices. In fact, I was up on the Expo Hall, and Amazon just announced their next version of Just Walk Out, which is it's RFID, not home run tags, right? So it's all self-contained, but it's Wi-Fi connected. And so you think about, if I wait 5, 7 years to upgrade my Wi-Fi, all this money I'm spending on all these advanced digital initiatives aren't going to work, right? And so frankly, what is the cost of Wi-Fi compared to the other initiatives they're doing? It's a relatively small piece of the pie, right?
It is, and the key is not only is it that, you're making the upgrade, you're then cleaning up your RF space, which is hugely valuable, and then now you'll be able to connect to, like I mentioned, thread technology, the tag technology that we're studying right now. All that needs to be supported by next-gen Wi-Fi, so you're right, there's a cost associated with it, but the overall total cost of ownership, I think, ends up being less.
Well, what's the cost of not doing it is the key, and
exactly.
So what are you showing here? I noticed you do have tags up here.
You can see we got some of our partnerships in this space right now, but we're showing some digital examples of some digital tag solutions here, which is very nice. So it's another great example of technology. I mean, this stuff pays for itself, right? The operational efficiency with the digital tagging side of things, it basically pays for itself. The ROI is so significant on it, and there's so many examples of this, from temperature sensing. I talked about the thread technology. Literally, it's next generation technology that in essence pays for itself.
Yeah, in fact, Kroger, I believe, is trying to roll out electronic price tags all over their stores, right? So instead of, you think about the cost of a retailer from having to run around the stores, replace all the price tags, versus doing it from a central location and pushing it out everywhere. I mean, it's
unbelievable. Another good example of something that you wouldn't really think of on the app side of things is, usually people do the printed coupons, right? That's always been what people do. So Kroger, one of their initiatives was, we're going to stop printing. They save millions and millions of dollars in printing alone by going all digital, but you can't go all digital on the app until you get people comfortable with the technology. Plus, you have to have the Wi-Fi technology that supports it. So there's other things that you don't even think of, but that are unlocked from.
I think American Airlines actually saves $4 million. I read this, just not doing paper boarding passes. So just these little things.
It's a real number. Yeah.
So you guys rolled out your with Platform One last year. How's the uptake of that been?
It's been tremendous. I can tell you from a customer adoption perspective, we're seeing a tremendous amount of interest. From an extreme perspective, people always looked at us and said, hey, we love the way we manage your solutions. Was it time for us to deliver a next generation architecture and then integrate it with AI? Was exactly that sweet spot that our customers were looking for. And there's really two aspects of it. It's about, how do I manage my environment? How can I be more efficient about it? How can I take some of those tasks? The other aspect of it is, how do I get more visibility into it? How do I integrate from analytics? How do I get more visibility in my analytics? How do I get connections with other platforms that I'm running? And then how do I potentially make real decisions about that? So our customers have been incredibly jumping in with 2 feet, because the need is there so much, and they're really happy with what they're seeing with the solution.
And what are they doing with it? Are they trying to just save labor costs? Are they trying to automate certain tasks? What's been the uptake of
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it really is. It's, hey, how can I do these things more efficiently? How can I automate this? How can I integrate, for example, with ServiceNow? What's the best way to do that? What's the best way to facilitate that? So it's all those things. And the cool thing about that technology is, there's things that, we like to think we know everything, we've solved everything, but when people come to us and say, hey, have you thought about applying it this way? It's incredibly easy for us to turn those things on because of the technology. It's built in the technology itself.
And it's good to see that too, right? And in fact, on the labor side, it's been interesting to talk to retailers because, let's face it, most retailers don't really have enough network engineers to support their organization. So with AI, everybody's all paranoid about AI taking jobs, but from the retailers I've talked to, they're using AI to fill the gaps because they can't hire enough people, right?
Exactly.
And, and you're not going to send local IT people to every store.
Right.
So the more I can automate, the better off I am.
Yeah. No, you're spot on. I mean, this retail operates incredibly thin. Their business, from even from a margin and profitability perspective, is they operate it thin. So any technology, which AI is perfect for that, allows them to be more efficient. Replace some of those tasks, automate, it's right again in there with their strategic, IT direction.
Yeah, and you mentioned analytics, and so the Extreme Analytics product, of course, it's the official analytics product for the NFL. And at NFL TAC, I talked to Aaron Amendola, the deputy CIO, and he was saying that they've been using the product to be able to tie things that happen on the football field to network. To things that happen in the network to better understand what a touchdown scored, what's Wi-Fi traffic look like, things like that, right? And one of the takeaways from that was, historically, if you were to ask the CIO, does network data have any business value, they would probably say no, right? But I think here's a great example that, NFL, one of the biggest, best run organizations in the world, has figured out that network data, yes, indeed, does translate to business value. And that's something I think from a retail perspective, understanding who's in store, how moving around stores, what social IP. There's so much knowledge that you have in your analytics product. Every retailer could benefit from that, whether it's an Extreme network or not, right?
100%, yeah. And I mean, we're fortunate, as you know, because we've been doing that for a decade plus. And I'd argue the same thing you do, that the same things that they've tried to do in sports and entertainment vertical are the same things that they need to do in retail.
Yeah.
What are they doing? What are they doing on the network? Why are they doing that? Flow, when people, we've done this for a while in stadiums. When you walk into a stadium, why do you go left versus right? Does it make sense? Is it logical? Is there ways for us to improve it? So all those things are applicable in retail.
And the last thing I want to talk about your fabric. So this, to me, it mystifies me why every one of your customers is running the fabric. I've called it kind of your secret weapon or whatever, but what it really hammered home the point for me was when I at your event in France, when I talked to the CIO of Dubai World Trade Center, and he said he's literally changing the network every day, sometimes multiple times a day, and because the fabric has such simplified operations, he can do that. He couldn't do that on a more traditional network. And so you think about a retail environment, guest networks, manufacturers networks, right? They've got some of the breaches we've seen in retail have been because they have shared networks, right? Yeah. The ability to create these networks on demand with the fabric allows you is, to me, just seems like, in the AI era where there's so much happening, it really is the right solution for today's era of networking.
It totally is. I mean, you think about fabric technology and the application of that with microsegmentation, supporting IT, and then the security advantages of it. It is a perfect fit for a retail and type of environment.
Especially when you want simplified operations.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So what we find, though, is sometimes for us is it is an education process. And the other thing about fabric is it's one of those things when you first hear about it, it almost sounds a little too good to be true.
Yeah.
So
we're snake whale, so there's no way.
Wait a second. It sounds like you're trying to sell me bill of goods, but what we do a lot is say, okay, well, don't listen to us about it. Listen to this Fortune 50 manufacturer that's doing it. Listen to this, listen to these other sets of customers that are doing this, and they can validate it all day long. And then once people actually use it and understand it, then it becomes, okay, we get it, we see the light, because it's such a game changer. And so we're having a ton of dialogue in the retail space exactly for those reasons. It's the perfect environment.
Yeah. All right, last question then, just let's go back to the show. Anything here catch your eye you find particularly interesting? Because there's so much stuff here. Right?
There's so much stuff. You know what catches me is the variety of stuff here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could go from a software app to a hardware device to a service company to carriers. So one of the reasons I like it is we do get an opportunity to talk to different people. It's a great networking event. So it's the diversity is impressive.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody. I know Zebra. You acquired a piece of the Zebra business,
yeah, we did.
right?
Yeah.
They actually are building call control into some of their devices now because people buy the devices, and so you want to make a call, just use the Zeus. So the convergence of all the stuff is coming together, right?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that's pretty interesting. But you're right. And I imagine for a company like yourself, the ability to partner just grows. But
it's great.
The variety. I'm not sure I've been to another show except maybe CES, where the variety of different technologies is so great.
And, for someone like me or you'd have to fly around the country, go to 50 different locations to get this type of diversity, but the fact you can do it all in one show makes it incredibly valuable.
Well, I do that. I fly around the country.
You do it.
All right, John, anything else you want to add?
No, great to see you as always.
That was great. So,
great to catch up.
on behalf of John Brams from Extreme Networks, I'm Zeus Kerravala from the Extreme Network stand at NRF, saying thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like, and I'll see you next time on my next episode of ZKast.